now. So welcome all to this moment in time where we can stop our daily lives and we can join together consciously to connect to Bek Tomarchio. Bek Tomarchio is a third level priestess graduate and essential artist. And if you have had the privilege of being in her company, you will know that she is also a fearless, wild woman. I remember so clearly when the last training weekend for Bek's third level program in Perth, we're in Fremantle, which turned into a mini retreat. It was so glorious. And Bek drove all the way from the southwest of Western Australia, like a 5-hour drive with a broken foot in a boot, because nothing was going to stop her from being there. And I think that typifies Bek's character so much to me and who she is. She is just never in her victim. She's fearless and powerful and gracious and loving and just so generous, and she lights up any space that she's in. And I feel just so grateful that I have had the opportunity to know her and become a friend. And when she contacted me back in mid-December to let me know about what was happening, I was awed and blown away by her grace and her humor and her willingness to embrace this transition, this change in form, with such almost a generosity and an enthusiasm, and it just kind of blew me away. So I'm just noticing, sorry, the live stream isn't working. I'm just going to try one more time. If we can't get it to work, I'm just going to leave it because I'd much prefer to just focus on holding the energy here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to share the timeline that Bek shared with me, and then we're going to use this time before Bek joins us to go into heart congruence with the intention of holding Bek in our hearts and really elevating her frequency and boosting her as much as we possibly can without an agenda. It's not up to us to figure out what God wants. Our job is to simply hold the highest possible vibration. So let me just quickly set up this live stream. My apologies for the slight technical issues, but you know what? We can handle it. We can handle anything. And hopefully that will all work now. But what I'll do is, before we go into heart congruence, I'll just share what Bek shared with me. So Bek has probably 2 to 3 weeks to live. And her journey with cancer began when, sorry, it's just allowing me to go live now. It began in May 15 of last year when she was diagnosed with rare uterine cancer. Before that, she'd had a polyp found and removed in May of 2019, and she went through radiation therapy in late October, September. Something was just not quite right though, and she went back to work in November, but she had fatigue and pain. And when she went back to the emergency department with a suspected bladder infection, they found the tumor. She's had lots of tests, and then on December 12, she was diagnosed that the cancer had returned, mutated, and was aggressive. It's non-operable, obviously, and just keeps growing. I think the last time I spoke to Bek, they'd told her it was sort of growing at the rate of like 2 centimeters a week at that time, and I think that's probably accelerated. She has a lot of pain from pelvis to breast. The whole area that the tumor mass is pushing down on the bladder and the bowel, the lymph system and bone marrow. She has amazing support and was planning on staying home till the end, but a rapid decline has meant that she'll go to the hospice today for the duration. The estimated diagnosis is 2 to 3 weeks from now. Plan is for pain management and being around loved ones. So what we'll do now is I would be truly honoured if you would join me in going into an expanded, extended heart congruent state. I'll lead us all in that if you're not familiar with it, and even if you are. And we are holding the intention for that energy to be received by Bek in whatever way is congruent with what she needs now. We don't have an agenda. We don't know what is best. We simply know that when we hold the highest possible vibration, that is our prayer, that is our offer, and that the infinite intelligence of Bek's soul and God will establish how to best use that energy. And it is really our job to stay in non-judgment and to know that death is simply a transition to another form, another state of being. And whilst we feel we suffer the loss of our beloved sister, it's vital for us to remember, as Byron Katie tells us, that in truth no one can ever die to us. If we are truly willing to live the laws, if we're truly willing to be congruent with our faith, now is the time where we can demonstrate the kind of courage and grace that Bek is sharing with us all, and let her life be an invitation for us to truly put down our fear about death. And I know that a very big part of what Bek wants and what she wants to speak about is the idea that that death is not real. And just like that, we manifested an angel. Hello, beautiful sister.
Good morning.
Good morning, my glorious one. You look like a vision. There's a slight soft flicker on your camera and you look like you're truly glowing.
Thank you. It's beautiful to be here. I had a bit of a rough night, so I didn't know whether I was going to be here to do this, and I'm very grateful.
I'm very grateful. I just shared your little message to me, said that I would ducking hate to vomit live, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure autocorrect, she didn't mean ducking.
Yes.
So your nausea has settled a little?
Yes, I've just had an injection, so we've got a wonderful palliative team down here in Albany, and the nurse has been with me for a few hours tonight. Yeah. So we just had an injection, so if I stop the camera very quickly, we know what that's all about.
You know why? Well, we've got 84 people here with us live, and we're live streaming to Facebook, and everyone is so excited to get to see you and hear you and hold you. And I was just about to go into heart congruence, but I think whilst we have you, and because that might be, a difficult thing for you to stay live with us, I think probably the best thing is for us to spend time talking with you, and then I'll finish with the heart congruence, which you can stay for, or you can just feel non-locally.
Sounds beautiful.
Okay, so I've just shared the background of the timeline of your journey to get to this place now, and really what I would like is for you to just have this time to say what you want to say, share what you want to share, and just speak whatever it is that you feel like those of us who are not at this miracle space should be hearing right now.
And where to start in that? Wow. Well, it has been a heck of a roller coaster ride, the last few months. It's been something that, given my training, with the Institute and how I've devoted my life to the divine, for quite a few years now, it's something that all the way along the path, there's been so many moments where there's been so much infallible faith and evidence in my world that this is all okay. So I've been looking for that as well. I have been consciously asking, because there is times where I've been very scared. You're in hospital, you're doing these tests, you have no idea what's going on, and you're in pain. And that can be a very fearful place. So I have very much been with that conscious intention of having that hope and coming within myself to have that trust. And it is there, and I have felt supported the whole way of those moments when I felt like I can't do it. I lean into my sisters. Those moments when it's overwhelming, I feel my family. And love is everywhere. It has never not been here, even in the scariest moments. And I think that has been the most beautiful thing, just to experience the amount of love, the texture of such unconditional love from every way, shape, or form. It is here, it is everywhere. We just need to be open to receive it. And that even in this time of turmoil and heartbreak and bittersweet, you know, I've said goodbye to two of my friends and my father in the last few days. It's very painful. Nothing can prepare you for that. But it's also been the most beautiful and blessed experience. I'm not scared of dying. I feel this, you know, when you look at a sunset or a beautiful scene in nature and you are just immersed in this majesticness and you feel that you feel that connection. That's how I feel it's going to be. That I'm just going to be, and then I'm just not going to be. And that feels nice to not have that. What I thought would have been really scary. Don't get me wrong, it is shit as fuck that I'm dying. I do not want to go anywhere. I've got the best freaking life. Like at 41, I feel like I've nailed myself, you know. Unfucked myself, become who I am. You know, I've become a beautiful sensual artist. I've found my passion. I found my voice. And in that, I've been able to articulate exactly what I want and how I want this time now to be. And right now, I can't think of anywhere else I'd rather be than sitting here in conversation with you and knowing that there is beautiful people just being here with me in this time. And I'm receiving all of your love. I feel these little bliss bubbles going off all the time.
Yeah.
So it's magical.
Yeah.
And I know that I have that choice continually. I have that choice to whatever is that other option is. But life's too fucking short, and all we have is this present moment. Really is all that we have.
Yeah. Yeah. I loved when we talked a little while ago, and you said to me something that was so important for me to hear for myself personally, and I think well, probably just for all humanity to hear, that you're basically doing the same things with your time that you were doing before you knew this diagnosis. And I thought, what a fucking woman you are to like fucking have that level of clarity about who you are and what you want with your life, that even with this, you're already living the life, your best life. You're already living what you want, just sitting on the deck, watching the birds and the sunset and the sunrise. And I just thought, surely that is, you know, very few of us could say that, Beck. And I think what you've done for me personally, and I'm sure what every person who's listening is hearing, is that to be approaching your death without regret. I mean, sure, there's the absolute regret of, fuck, I really like this life. Why?
Yeah, totally. Don't take it away from me yet.
You didn't suddenly end a relationship or sell everything or move countries, or, you know, you were already doing everything you wanted.
Yeah, and I had consciously created that, you know, over the years of slowing down, really working out what it is, how it is that I want to feel with my time. I had some girlfriends over recently to my place, and we live in a beautiful place. It's 2 acres on the water, and it's bullshit ridiculous. Like, it really is. Never thought you could live like this. But I used to spend a lot of time thinking about how I wanted to feel. And as we know, the feeling is the language the universe hears. And that's exactly what I've created here in this space now, surrounded by my family. You know, we're having slow time and it's peaceful. There's no rush. You know, life is so short.
Yeah.
Why is there any need to rush? And I know that that's not me. I have rushed in the past, and, you know, it's taken me a long time to get to the point of actually knowing what it is and who I am, and to create that life. And, you know, that's a really big, you know, background story to that. But I think for me, the best thing is to do it with conscious intention. Do it with alignment with that moment. And that moment can be different. I mean, Jesus, I really didn't think I'd be here, um, even 30 minutes ago. You've really just got to just be here. Just be here with what we have and who we have in front of us and beside us.
Yeah. We do have some questions that
Beautiful.
people have asked, and I have a few that people have emailed to me, and then I know Rachel is here to moderate and to share any questions with me. Are you happy for us to jump into those?
Yeah, for sure.
So just so we know that Bek's time might be limited, but if you do have a question that you feel you want to ask, just pop it in the chat box and Rachel will let me know. And yeah, there's something else I was going to say, but I can't remember. I'm so absorbed in your beautiful energy. The question that came through yesterday, I haven't recorded names, so my apologies. I've just got the questions. What message would you give the women who are walking the path of spiritual leadership right now? What do you want us to know?
Just be you. Just be unapologetically you in each moment, no matter what that looks like. And become your own best friend. Learn your own language. Dude, I've been sleeping with my teddy bear. Who would have thought it? But I pulled out my teddy bear, I don't know, about a year ago. I was doing something in child work. I made a cubby. Maybe it was less than a year. But I just followed that. Followed that, whatever was present for me. And just gift yourself.
Yeah.
And there's nothing in your shadows that is too fucking dark. Seriously. Like, as women, as human beings, we are so goddamn resilient. We are so extraordinary. And until you have the opportunity to see that, get down in there. Get spiritually fierce.
Yeah, let's do that. And you are such a demonstration of that. But I just adore that, because I think we've got so much fear of our light as well as our dark. Like, we're so afraid of being the full expression. And I think you are that. You've always been that. And one of the funny things that we joked about, and I love that we could joke and laugh from when we started talking about this. In fact, it was a great gift to me. Was this idea that you've aced this devotion thing. You've aced living in absolute congruence. I'm sure you have your off days, we all do, but you've really embodied the full expression of who you are from my perspective. And we were joking about, oh fuck, does that mean that we're all going to be taken off this earth if we get it right? And maybe that's a scary thing. And we were both agreeing that actually that's not necessarily everybody's path. So don't think if you get as congruent as Bek, it doesn't mean that we're all gonna
No, I definitely feel that it's my time.
Yeah.
It's I wish it wasn't. I wish it was different. But yeah, I don't think that's the way that you reach a certain point and you just go.
Yeah.
Maybe there's just bigger things for me.
There is.
And and if sitting here in this moment is it, and so it is.
There's such big things for you. And I'm reminded of Wayne Dyer. And, when he passed, it really felt like he needed to become his bodhisattva self. Like, he needed to go into that vast expanse in order to do his work. But I think it's okay to grieve who you are and what you're leaving behind, as well as to embrace the fullness of what you're becoming.
I'm so glad that we got to meet Wayne about a week before he died in Melbourne. My mum bought us all, my sister's, tickets to the I Am Light conference, and my sister Belinda got to hug Wayne, and he had this, I feel like that sort of that omnipresence and that sort of that calmness. I feel like all the wisdom is just right here, and it is for all of us here, and every minute is just here.
Yeah. Yes, you feel like that to me. You feel like you are, as you said, the veils are so thin, and you're standing between two states of being, but the fact that you're letting us witness that and share that with you. And you mentioned to me on our earlier call that you want to make people less afraid of death.
Oh shit, yeah.
And you do.
Shit, yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just something that's not really talked about. It's not something that's really, I think, embraced as a culture, and it's something that happens to all of us. And it's something that once the person dies and they're on the other side, it's just like some of those internal injuries. You don't see that, but grief lingers. It is something that affects. So if we can, be part of creating a culture that speaks more about this. I mean, we've been lucky and unlucky as a family that we've had to go through this, with family members before. So, we're quite aced at it, which is awesome. But, everyone's gone through death, everyone is going through it. Everyone has lost someone. Everyone is going to lose someone, so let's make it just as much as conversation as joy. As happiness, of dreams.
Yeah. And you're doing that right now, and you're doing it for me, but you're doing it for everyone who's listening. And just, the word that just keeps coming to mind is grace. Like you just in that, like that state and that generosity in you to gift us this time. There's another question, and I guess this is this is a great question, but you've answered it in ways, but I'll share it with you anyway, and you can see if there's something else that comes up. What clarity have you received since this diagnosis arrived? What's got really clear?
Well, I'm a big list girl. And my list got really clear of what was important and what was not.
Yeah.
Just, practical stuff like, do I need a new couch or do I not need a new couch? I don't need a new fucking couch. But it was really beautiful that in that alignment, there actually wasn't a lot that fell away.
Yeah.
Of what I was doing, of who I was being around, of the ways that I was spending my days. Like, there's not been anything that I've been, wow, I really wish I could have done. I really wanted to go to Italy. That was my big thing. But I've got lots of Italian food coming to me from beautiful local people that are cooking, and that's beautiful that's going to nourish me. And yeah, there hasn't been much that I've wanted to do that I haven't done.
Yeah. I did love, if you're okay with me sharing, you got your undercut, which is just spectacular. And if you haven't
got my undercut,
Bek's undercut, then her hairdresser shared the photo, and we'll share that post because it was I noticed that was sort of your first public announcement.
It was. And do you know what? There's a story with that. Is the day before I had a bit of a family meeting, and I just said, look, I'm not sure what I want to do. Like, I'm dying. I've just been told I've got 6 weeks to live. I kind of want to share it with my wider people, but I totally don't want to share it with my wider people. Like, I'm not even, I'm not even there yet myself dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I'd had the beautiful haircut with the beautiful Amanda, who is just stunning and could not have articulated my story any better. And, I woke up the next day to the post, and, there was this microsecond where I thought, should I be pissed at this? That it was taken out of my hands, but there wasn't even.
Yeah.
I was so grateful because I know that I'd set the intention for that to happen. And it couldn't have been done in an even more better way, and the fact that, it's now reached people that are going to bring me Italian food. And like yesterday, I had a beautiful lawyer come to my home, and I've organised all my financials and all my will, and that's all been done for me all through that reach. And yeah, sometimes you just got to trust.
Yeah.
But yes, it was very public, and it was 2 or 3 days of what the fuck overwhelm, and hearing from hundreds of people, and connecting with. I mean, my whole life has been about relationships and connection.
Yeah.
And it's going to be no different for now. But yeah, those first few days of the publicness were quite intense.
Yeah.
which I feel has calmed a lot now. And
Yeah. And I think
as shit's declining really fast, so it's like we got to get on board with this.
Yes. Yeah. It's happening. The body's doing what it needs to do, and efficient. Really.
Yeah, really efficient.
So I have a question here from beautiful Rachel. She's asking a question, which I will read now. What advice would you give to someone who has a close person to them approaching their sacred death? How can we best be with the dying from your perspective? Like, what helps you most? What's been really good?
Quotes. Listen to them. Like, drop your masks. Just actually, I don't care about your bullshit. I don't care about your good girl face. Just fucking be here. Just be here without your masks. Be honest. If you want to cry, cry. If, you want to go in the other room, scream, scream. Don't hide yourself, because we can feel it. The one thing that's been very helpful is for me to have boundaries, very firm boundaries about what I need, about the kind of rest I need, what that looks like, who and when is in my space. And I've been very articulate with the family. So when we first knew, we went away to Bremer Bay, hired a big house, and just sort of locked down and sort of came to terms with what was going on, and I was able to articulate what I needed. So listen to that, and give them opportunity to say what they need, because I'm a very articulate and confident woman, but someone who might be in that position might not be. They might never have been given opportunity to speak and to actually think, well, how do I want to die? How do I want to be treated? Because I don't want fucking visitors all day. That's going to exhaust me, and that means my 3 weeks left is going to be 2 weeks left, and I'm sorry, but that's not fair. That's not fair to me, and that's not fair to my family. So I've had a lot of beautiful people, come and visit, and I do have visitors for the next 2 weeks, and it's all going to be under my terms.
Yeah.
And so far it's been very respected, and I don't see it being any different. But this is not the time to, put on your lippy and, let's go visit Bek and bring flowers, just like in the nicest way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, it can be quite overwhelming, the emotional side. Like physically for me, I've got this big tumor, and when I cry, it like goes like a poltergeist, and it's crap. But it's really draining, So, if you come and you're just in that full grief state, maybe have some time by yourself, like learn to manage a bit of your emotions, and come when you're in a state where your cup is full.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just be. Just be.
So we should basically live as you are dying. We should, that advice is really just how we should all be fucking living, really.
Yes.
It's like you would say to someone in any situation, but that's so, yeah.
Be present. Look after your own shit and be present.
Yeah. Yeah.
Be authentic.
I'm in. I'm doing it.
You are doing it, Ricky Jane. You are.
I'm doing it right now. I feel like you've just, for so many of us, I have no doubt, but for me, you've just set off this this sense of like a love bomb in my heart, and the access to grace and certainty and boundaries. And I've made some really epic life changes, my darling, since we first started talking, and I'm so grateful to you, because I looked around and there were things that I knew I would regret if I was in your situation. I'm like, well, fuck that. Yeah. That's not what I'm signed up for.
Fuck that.
So thank you for being my teacher now and my mentor, and for giving me that opportunity to really get clear, and so fearlessly. It's just so, you're just a fucking miracle. It just feels like being in the presence of a miracle. There's no other way. I want to know if anyone else has any questions, because I don't want to take too much of Bek's time.
I also have another something is
share it.
Is ask for support. Like, there is support everywhere, and it's really important to let people give to you. It's really important to let people in to care for you, to call up. If you've got questions, become empowered in your knowledge about what's happening to you, about what's happening to your family member. Find out what services there are. Find out what, what support there is, what is there for you. Because when I've been so supported, but if you don't know how to make that phone call or how to, expedite things, just it's there. You just need to actually be open to receive it. Yeah, I think that's very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And once again, like in life also, like just as in death, that is incredibly important. And it's that sense of being unafraid. And it's
and that's life. That's a reciprocal flow.
Yeah.
Energy exchange isn't in and out. We can't just be here in this bubble going, oh, fuck, I'm dying. It's just shit. When there's like hundreds of people that want to love me. Why would I not let people love me now?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because you are miraculous and you have done the deep work of a deep faith, because a lot of people would just be in the corner rocking backwards and forwards and hating everything. And you aren't accepting that for yourself. And that is...
I've had a few moments of rocking,
I'd be questioning things for sure. So there's one more question here, and then I want to go in, if you're feeling ready, we'll go into some heart congruence together. I don't want to cut you off, but I do feel like maybe it's a good time for you. Like I just feel your energy maybe it's a good time.
Perfect.
Yeah. So do you have a daily practice that you follow, or one that you would advise us to follow? It's a good question.
I wake up every day and I'm grateful. I wake up every day and I check in with my body. I touch my body. Hey, how you doing? I'm here. And I go outside. Well, actually, I meditate before I get out of bed. I haven't been meditating as much though, but I feel like my whole life is like a meditation right now. And I just feel, I feel my environment. I feel the sun. I listen to the sounds. I just become really present to my body in this world at this time. That's, and always heart, always come back to the heart. I'm doing, heart congruence all day, every day. Big fan of rose oil. Rose oil on the heart has just been like amazing. I have this big tumor, big lymph node that's angry under my heart, and the rose just settles it. Just find what's your thing.
Yeah.
And just do it every goddamn day. And if it's different the next day, that's fine, just as long as you're devoting to you.
Yes.
Because, that's all that matters.
Jai Ma.
Jai Ma.
Yeah. All right, my darling sister. Every person here and every person watching on the live stream, and those who watch back later, we're going to hold you now, my darling. If you will give us the privilege of doing so.
Yes, please do. And please let me hold you after I die too. If anyone needs to call on an extra angel, I'm here for you.
I've already asked Beck if I could please channel her. I'm like, could I please have that honor? I think your answer was, I'll figure out what happens. But yes, I feel like you're going to be communicating with all of your sisters, of course, in that level, and all of your sisters everywhere, and all of those people who have had the privilege of knowing you. I don't think that we're going to lose you in any way.
No.
I can only imagine that we'll probably talk more often. So let's us do the holding right now. And we will keep ourselves wide open to receive. And I'm just going to let you decide what's best for you, camera on, camera off, or if you want to go and just receive because it's all non-local anyway, whatever your body's needing, whatever it is, just it's in your hands, my darling. And let's do this beautiful thing together right now for our sister who is with such spiritual fierceness approaching a transition with arms wide open. And let us be moved and altered by our beloved sister Bek. You might like to bring your hands into prayer position over your heart, or just place the palms over the heart center, whatever feels right to you. Closing down the eyes if you're safe to do so. And begin to take some conscious, extended breaths, letting go of all the effort required to bring you to this moment in your life. We'll slow everything right down. Slow down our brain waves, slow down our heartbeat, slow down our breathing. Become fully present to this unending moment. And I want us all who are listening now, and those who will listen back later, knowing that time and space is truly illusory, to imagine that we are standing holding hands in a circle. And in the center of our circle is our beloved sister. And even though there may be 100 or more of us holding Bek in this circle, she fills up the entire space. Her magnificent, subtle anatomy, her energy body is so expansive at this extraordinary time. She is the full goddess, reclining on the most comfortable bed, her body pain-free, resting in repose. The Queen. And for this blessed moment, we have the privilege, great honor, to bow down before this beloved sister, Queen, Goddess, wild woman, wise woman, medicine woman. And in our circle, holding hands, we begin now to silently or out loud, if that feels right to you, repeat the prayer. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And as you utter these words or you repeat them silently, feel the energy at the center of your chest, expanding outwards in deep gratitude for this woman, for her life, for her contribution to all of our lives, whether we know her well or whether we're meeting her for the first time today. For the grace that she is sharing with us now and has always shared. For her joy, her effervescence, for the energy that she brings to any space that she is in. You fill up the space, my darling. You always have. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you that you are doing the deep work of this path right now. This path you didn't choose, but nevertheless you are walking. Just as our brother Jesus did not choose the crucifixion. When that time came, he did not say no to God. And you too are walking towards the thing you probably least want and showing us how to live better, more profoundly, with more commitment to suck the marrow out of life. Thank you. And for every woman and man holding space for you right now, feel that energy at your heart center connecting to the person on each side of you in the circle. And then to the next, and the next, until every heart is united with Bek's in one heart congruent state. And we're holding Bek in this glorious ball of light emanating from our hearts. And what we do together is exponentially increased in power. We are holding no fear, no doubt, pure compassion. I am not afraid for you. I see who you are, and I honor you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And let that prayer continue to be uttered or silently whispered, moving out, expanding the energy at your heart center further and further. The light surrounding our beloved sister growing, expanding, her body floating weightless within that glorious golden light. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you that we have been invited into the sacred space of these final moments of Bek's life, that she has given us this great privilege, this powerful opportunity, and that we may serve her. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And we'll move into silence now for just a moment, a few minutes at most, to let this energy build and keep the prayer, the energy of gratitude moving through you, staying present, holding our sister, rippling out into the field, creating miracles everywhere, just as Bek's life has done. Very gently now begin to deepen your breath. And in your mind, see that our sister remains in that glorious bubble of light. And we let go of one another's hands now, knowing that the work will continue for as long as it is required. When you're ready, you might choose to lower your hands to your lap, bring some gentle movement back to your body. Deep breath in through the nose and exhaling out through the mouth. And when you're ready, if you've had your eyes closed, blinking them open now. Beck, I wonder if there's anything finally that you want to say to us, or we're hanging on every word, baby. You could read us your shopping list if you want. We'd love it.
I love you guys. I'm just so full of love.
You are so easy to love. You always have been.
I love you, and just keep being love, all of you. Just keep being love.
I want to ask you just finally, do you have a favorite song?
I am light.
Nice.
India Ari.
So what I'd like everyone to invite everyone to do, if it feels right, is that maybe just after this, to help move the energy, to help transmute your grief, whatever it is, or maybe later, to play that song, and I'll share a link on the Facebook page, and to dance and to embody what you're feeling, your love for Beck, because embodiment is what this woman is all about. And we can
Feel it.
unite our energy in this celebration for you, my darling, and move our bodies in honor of who you are and what you have gifted us all.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to do this, to be here,
Thank
to
you.
share.
I was so, I think you and I had the idea almost at the same time, but I just feel so fucking grateful. I feel so grateful. And I'm going to make sure you get all the comments that are coming up in the chat box. I'll send that to you as well, so you can see everything.
That'd be lovely.
Because they love you, my darling. It's gone crazy in there, and we'll make sure that you receive that as well. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that we can do for you? Is there anything you want from us, virtually, in person, anytime? Just tell us what we can do.
I will. There's nothing. I have everything. Yeah.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
I love you.
My pleasure. I love you too.
It is now, and always has been, my privilege to serve you